Blog Talk Radio.
Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I would like to welcome you to this conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience or experiences. We are here every Wednesday, this channel, this time, 3 o'clock on the west coast of the United States, PST, Pacific Standard Time. And I'd just like to tell you it's a beautiful day here, and it's a wonderful day to talk with you about your Kundalini awakening. And before I go too much further, I would like to welcome the Celtic Queen of Questionable Comforts, Her Holiness Amelia Shantara Kundalini. I forget kind of what Facebook did with your name there. How are you?
Shantara Kundalini. I'm good, thank you. And it's good to be here on this Wednesday, like all Wednesdays. Hi to everyone in the chat room. I can see you all there. Atlantis Seeker and Carolyn and Kelly and Manisha and Phil and Cole. And as yet we don't have any numbers, but it's early in the program. So I'll just start with letting you know where you can go if you want to make a donation to the work that Chrism does to support Kundalini awakening systems. The place you can go is www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com, and the donate button is underneath the flyer on top. It's on the right hand side and it says donate, so just press that and it's easy to follow the instructions after that. We always say every week, and I'm going to say it again, please know that you don't have to make a donation. There's no pressure, and yet I make this announcement every week because I do get inquiries. People would like to support the program. People are sometimes concerned that, the donation they make isn't going to be a lot. It's a small donation. And I would just like to say to people, small donations add up, and each one is very, very important. So if you're in a position to make a small donation, if that's what you would like to do, please go ahead and do so, because every donation matters and it's very gratefully received. So I'll give you that again. It's www.ascension-kundalini.blogspot.com. Oh, yes, and also, if you would like to donate in some other way, just drop me a line to kundalinimatters@gmail.com, and, is that right? No, that's not right. Kundalinimatters, yes, @gmail.com, and I can let you know different ways that you can also make the donation. So that's it, Chrism. Looking forward to the show and the topic that you're going to be discussing today, or the topics, I should say.
It's always up to the Shakti, but I just got somewhat of a download, and today, for those of you who are practicing in a devotional manner, as you're listening to the show, you may have an opportunity for devotion, and and it doesn't matter whether you're listening to the show live or you're listening to it in the archive. I want to give you the opportunity to go into the devotional postures that you know to be in. And so I know as I look at the people that are on the chat group, and as I look at some of the folks that are listening on the telephone, it's very, very clear from me right now that if you have the opportunity to listen to this show inside the devotional practice, that I'm going to suggest that you do it. The words that are coming through, they're loaded with the energy, they're loaded with the consciousness, and it's really a great opportunity for you to participate in a devotional context as this show is being given. It's very, very conducive to the Kundalini as you receive the Kundalini within a devotional context. And I know I've done a couple of shows now on devotion, so I won't go into it too much. But as you're listening to the show, and this goes for the people that are listening in the archives in the future. Hello, everybody. Do this as well. As I've mentioned in the other programs, Kundalini does not lose its force. It does not lose its integrity, or its power by virtue of time or by virtue of placement, so to speak. So, i.e., if you're listening to this in the future and you're hearing me say, hey, do this within a devotional context, I'll strongly recommend that you do that. So there's that. With the program today, I would like to discuss trust in the Kundalini. It is all about trust. Our ego minds are going to want to scamper about and try to control this and try to control that and try to arrange this and try to arrange that, much as we have allowed it to do almost for our whole lives. When you're an infant, you're busy developing that ego. You're busy developing that level of strength and that level of tolerance and activity-based understandings of this planet and how you fit into it vis-a-vis how your parents are training you to fit into it. Kind of your ego becomes an extension of their ego, and then pretty soon your ego is all your ego. And that can happen in mid-childhood as well. It's not like it's always going to be, a reflection of your parents, but certainly in the first areas of life, you are a reflection of your parents' ego, and they're doing everything they can do to teach you how to survive on this world, and that means also adopting their egoic concerns and considerations and understandings. So with that in mind, now you're having a second birth. You're having a second birth into a divine consciousness, and this is what the Kundalini is relating you to. A second birth into divine consciousness. And now the training that you're receiving has everything to do with how the Kundalini wants you to be. The ultimate parents, the parents of our energetics, the parents of our parents of our parents of our parents of our parents, the parents of the human race, the parents of this planet and all life forms on this planet is the divine. And so now you're beginning to repattern your life based upon a divine blueprint, a divine expression. And in order to repattern successfully, you must trust that force that is doing the repatterning within you. As I look across the people here in the chat room, and I want to say to everybody, hello to everybody: Cole, Phil, Mary, Jean, Manisha, Heli, Guest 1223, 1218, Fashji, His Holiness, Atlantis Seeker, and of course, Her Holiness, Amelia Santara. It's the Kundalini that is your parent now. It's the Kundalini that is pushing you onto your knees and giving you the opportunity to begin devotion, beginning the opportunity to merge within a loving context with the Holy of Holies, with the divine ascendancy, with the factor of evolution upon this planet. Now is the time for you to trust. And devotion, of course, is an expression of love and an expression of trust. And so as you go through your life and you're looking for different ways, just say you got to go to the DMV or the Department of Motor Vehicles. If you're in the United States, you got to go to the DMV, you got to stand in that line, you got to go through all that bullshit that they push you through, and all these weird little surprises, but you just got to, okay, fine. I'm here for the Kundalini. I'm not here for that bureaucratic baloney. I'm here for the Kundalini. I trust my process. I trust what I'm being shown. And I'm trusting myself to be able to glean from these actions that I'm interacting with in order to find the Kundalini context, in order to find, the various levels of resistance that I might have, or ego expression, or ego control that I might have within that, just that one kind of a context. And then also, you have to learn how to deal with your home life and and trust the Kundalini with what's happening in your home life. Maybe it's not the best environment right now. Maybe you've got a spouse that's not buying into your Kundalini at all, and it's just kind of like looking at you with a wary eye. It's like, oh, is my spouse going to go off the rocker today? Do I have to call the White Room guys today? Am I going to have to put my spouse into the psych ward today? You know, they're looking at you that way, and you just have to trust your Kundalini, and that means trust it by staying or not staying inside of a situation like that. I do a lot of Skypes with a lot of different people. I have a lot of students, and the thing is, one of the things that I see is that people get into a certain level of a situation through the use of their ego, through how their ego manipulates their reality in order to bring certain plans and certain experiences into fruition for the individual. Well, when Kundalini comes along, you don't get to pay attention to the ego so much anymore. You have to pay attention to the Kundalini, and that may mean that you have to surrender the current living emotional situation in order to embrace a completely different and strange and unknown and foreign one. Now, I'm going to take a break here just to see if I'm even being heard. And so I'm going to ask Phil or Cole or somebody there to let me know if my voice is even coming through. And if you start typing soon, I can see, that it might. Manisha, you are so sweet. You're the first. You win the typing prize, Manisha. Yup, Cole, you're a very close second. But yes, the typing prize, I think, has to go to Manisha. Loud and clear. Oh, it's great. Thank you, both of you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Helly. Thank you as well. Now, when I say trust the Kundalini, I'm talking about trusting through whatever life is showing you at the time, through how the many different challenges of everyday life, especially if it's everyday life in a foreign area, everyday life, how that trust is going to manifest for you. So, for instance, you'll be challenged. You'll be challenged by your spouse. You'll be challenged at work. You'll be challenged by strangers on the street. And the one thing that I'm going to really guide you towards is to check with your Kundalini first. Really do a sub-vocalization. Sub-vocalization means talking to yourself without anybody hearing you. So make sure that your mouth doesn't move, okay? People will, you can incur something else. So you ask yourself, what would Kundalini have me do in this situation, even as the situation's coming on? What does Kundalini want me to do within this? Okay, and so you check on it, you look at it, you see how it's feeling, where it's guiding you, and it's not going to guide you with work. It's not going to guide you, say, in ways that you would have expectation of, not with words, more with feelings and more with kind of compulsions. So I want you to open to that. As you're in a challenging situation, I want you to just ask your Kundalini what it wants you to do. How does it want you to respond? What does it want you to do? What emotional status quo does it want you to have? Is it serenity? Is it happiness? Is it quick action? Is it sternness? I mean, the Kundalini can come through the third chakra quite well, everybody. It has no problem with you not being a doormat for anybody and everybody out there who just wants to scrape their feet on somebody. Okay, that third chakra can come through pretty darn strong, and let me tell you, it has no problem putting a person in their place. No problem. Okay. So you need to understand that too. It's not all gushy-wishy, sticky, sweet, oh, look at the love, look at the light. It's not all about that. Sure, there is opportunities and many opportunities to look at the love and look at the light. But not every opportunity calls for that. Okay, this is the real world here. I'm talking about your interactions in the real world, where you have to talk to a police officer because you saw the accident, where you have to talk to an MD because they're about as clueless as it comes. You have to talk to your boss because, they've got other things on their plate. You have to really, really step up in this world. And what I'm suggesting that you do is you step up hand in hand with your Kundalini. She is your new ego. The sacred feminine, the Shakti Kundalini, is your new ego. She's the one that is designing your new existence, your new expression, the sum total of the experiences that you're going to have for the rest of your life in this body is coming from the sacred feminine and her marriage to the sacred male. So begin to establish a trusting relationship. If she has given you a flesh teacher, then you also begin to have that trusting relationship with that flesh teacher. So, Cole, I see that your voice just cut out for me, and now it's back. Okay, all right. Maybe I'm talking too fast. Sometimes that occurs. Maybe I should slow it down. Let's go over here to this person. Hello. Who is this? This would be Rosemary Goliath.
Are you mixing up Rosemary and my
Joey!
phone numbers? Yes.
It's the 651. I usually see her there, and
I
just
should
want
be
to
another one. She's planning to listen too.
Oh, what was she? Well, it's just a pleasure, Joey, to have you here. Thank you so much, and feel what the Kundalini is telling you with regards to the devotion. Feel how it's guiding you. I just go ahead.
Well, you gave me a mantra for meditation. I am at one with all that I am.
Yes.
And my mind wants to say, I am one with all that I am.
Well, that's okay. You can say that.
Is it okay?
I got no problem with that. Yeah.
Okay.
You might also say, to be a little more to the point, because that's pretty spread out, right? You might say, I am at one with my Kundalini.
Okay.
See how that strikes you, and
okay.
and the next time I talk with you, I'm going to ask you about it, okay? And if I don't, you remind me, okay?
Okay. Good enough.
Thank you, my dear.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go, everybody. I am at one with my Kundalini, and this is a way of establishing a real-time, active-based matrix for Kundalini communication. And also, the more you communicate with your Kundalini, the more of the trust will come, the more of the relation-based experiences will come. And the one thing that I want you to really look out for, because some of you have these entities in you already. Okay, some of you have these little entities that are just waiting for you to wonder if I talk to the Kundalini, will it be the Kundalini that answers? This is Lasha. Lasha's coming through. She's saying, hello, everybody, and don't pet me so rough. Yeah. So you need to watch out for that. If it's coming through as a malicious voice or an overly seductive voice or a voice that is, and this includes thoughts that are controlling or angry or bitter or jealous or things of that nature, well, that's going to be more of an entity than it would be of the Kundalini itself. The Kundalini by itself is really interested in you and your progress, and you will know. You will know when it's of a divine character trait. You will know this, and it will help you to know this. You'll feel the understanding that this is truth, this is real, this is what I need to trust. God is just not going to say, oh, yeah, let's see if they can figure it out between an entity and me. Games are not being played in that way. Okay. As you say the word Kundalini, you are invoking the name of God, or one name of God. And so I think it's very interesting and very important for you to begin to have that conversation with your Kundalini awakening. So you're in a stressful event, as I was describing earlier, standing in line at the DMV or at the doctor's office, or talking to a cop, or talking to your boss, or your spouse or somebody, and ask your Kundalini, what do you want me to do? How would you have me handle this? What is going on for me inside of this situation, my Kundalini? I trust your guidance. You could just say that, my Kundalini, I trust your guidance. And then feel what comes, if anything comes. Sometimes nothing will come, and you just kind of go ahead as you've been doing. Doesn't mean that you need to have a course correction just because you're asking for a checkup. You understand, everyone? You getting me there, Mary Jane? Manisha? Atlanta Seeker, hello? Cole? Phil? Helly? You don't necessarily have to have a course correction. Sometimes you're right on course. You're moving. You're moving, and you're moving well. Now, the scenario is a lot of people are going to affix phenomena to whether or not they're moving well. Oh my gosh, geez, I haven't had phenomena in a day or two, and I'm used to having it every day. Does that mean the Shakti's mad at me? No, it doesn't mean the Shakti's mad at you. It just means that one thing is you don't want to have that expectation or that fixation upon having phenomena all the time. You want to realize that the body also needs time to process what the Kundalini is doing with it, how it's changing it, how it's transforming it. And so, when this occurs, well, you're just fine. Don't have a care, don't have a concern, because you just need to trust. Once again, let's see. Fashi says Adobe Flash Player keeps kicking me out of the chat room. Sorry, Chrism, my friend, you have nothing to apologize for. Adobe has everything to apologize for. So we'll just put that out to them, and we'll see if they can come up to that standard, up to your excellence, my friend, Fashi. So yeah, trust this process. Trust it. Now, some of you have thrown yourself into total change. Some of you have thrown yourself into total change where not only, your residence has changed, your work life has changed, your relationship life has changed. The very air that you breathe has changed dramatically. And that is a perfect opportunity to trust the Kundalini. To trust why you are, where you are, now that you are. So really, really trust in that. And Cole is saying to Fauci, use Google Chrome. And there you go. That may be a good resource, everybody, if you're getting kicked off and on and off and on. I have to say, Blog Talk Radio isn't the best, but I'm sure it's not the worst. And it's the way that we know how to work it right now. And so even with the technical glitches, I'm very grateful to John and Amelia O'Connor for providing this format to teach from and giving us all an opportunity to interact with each other. So thank you very much, Amelia and John O'Connor. So if you have questions about this subject, I'm going to encourage you to call in at 347-934-0026. That's 347-934-0026. And I'm going to bring in Her Holiness Rosemary, the other 651 area code there. Hello, Rosemary.
Hello there, Chrism. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, my dear. I was speaking to your Kundalini sister, Joey, earlier, thinking that it might be you.
That was good. When I got on, I was a little bit late, and I got on, I could hear her voice. And I said, yay, good.
So now, do you have any announcements you would like to make, my dear?
I do. I can say a small announcement. Anybody from Minnesota listening, I am now scheduling film sessions and to talk about the Kundalini, the beginning work, groundwork for the seminar that is happening in November 14 and 15 in Eagan as well. as the other times, and Saturday and Sunday. And my contact information is 651-452-3161 and rosemaryg@usinternet.com.
Thank you. Thank you, my dear. Go ahead, you were saying, and I?
Oh, and I'm excited to be scheduling these and talking with people. And I've had a lot of openness, and I'm grateful for that they have this teaching that we are the privilege of having.
Well, thank you, my dear, for setting it up and for doing all the hard work. That's no easy task that you're doing. And so I just want to say, you have my gratitude. And this selfless service does not go unnoticed. Are we clear?
Yes, I am. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be of service.
All right, my dear. I'm going to put you in the Shiva Blue. Thank you for your announcements. Okay, so there you have it. Now, I'm looking at the chat room here, and Phil Karuba says, I've noticed the Kunalini just uses me as a puppet and responds to my own surprise, probably responds amusing to your own surprise. But once again, I mean, if you're being used as a puppet, that I suggest you allow yourself to be used. And I suggest that you don't self-diminish with regards to a puppet being not a good thing. And so, just a second here. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so can you give an example for yourself about how you can surrender to the Kundalini, how you can really give yourself to this new parent in your life? How much trust can you give to it? Okay. And Heli Heinonen is asking, should I also say my mantra when I try to meditate? Because I'm having a hard time to meditate again. And yeah, say the mantra, and the mantra may just, all of a sudden you'll just stop saying it, and you'll be in that meditative space. So yeah, go ahead and follow the breath as well. It's not going to be always the same way each time. We're going to be given little bits of a mountain to have to climb up. We have to try a little bit. And yes, Heli, you just go ahead and say that mantra, and say it and say it and say it, and that may be the whole meditation. Maybe the whole meditation for you that day is that mantra meditation. And there's nothing wrong with that. Those mantra meditations really are good for the ego, to really begin to work its way through the ego. As you create as you speak, my friend. You create as you speak. Abracadabra in Arabic means I create as I speak. And so, abracadabra to all of you. Create as you speak. Create as you speak. Okay, bringing Her Holiness Amelia back into the... So I hope she's not otherwise occupied. You know how they are in Ireland there a little bit. How are things going there, my dear?
They're going well.
I'm not hearing any background sounds, so that's a good thing. All right. So
yes.
So tell me, how
you're getting better at it. Okay. Yes, that's your question.
How is your trust for the Kundalini? How is that working for you? Have you experienced any kind of levels of stress or strain lately? Have you had any kind of an issue that kind of goes beyond your control?
Yes, I've had quite a few. It's interesting though, because coming up to Shaktipat, there have been things going on for me, and since Shaktipat started, day 1, day 2, day 3, related to chakra 1, chakra 2, chakra 3, there have been very specific things that have come up that have been beyond my control. The trust of Kundalini, I trust Kundalini. I really trust Kundalini, no matter what happens, no matter what's going on. Now, sometimes, that doesn't mean I have the perfect response to these things that I have no control over. Sometimes I feel angry, or I feel, recently upset. But what has been, again, the safeties, the trust that I have in the Kundalini, that all these things are being given in order for me to, become that new person that the Kundalini is sort of designing me into, that they're there for a reason. And so I trust that there are opportunities, and I use the ego, or not the ego, but the safeties as best I can. Today, I had a particularly difficult time. Sometimes it's easier than other times, Today I had a particularly difficult time, and I'm still going through it a bit, where I'm, struggling with forgiveness and compassion, and at the same time, wanting to speak from that place of where I feel offended and where my ego feels hard done by. So, and it's day 3, and so it's a bit amplified perhaps than it has been for a long time, this particular situation I'm in. And that's a good thing. I know that because I trust the Kundalini to know that. And I trust the Shaktipat as well, which is from the Kundalini. It amazes me. And I'm noticing on the groups as well, how on the Shaktipat group, how this is happening for all of us on the group, all of us that are getting this gift of Shaktipat. We all seem to be experiencing it.
I do want to say for everybody, this is June 24th, 2015, and so we're right in the middle. This is Heart Chakra Day. We're right in the middle of the summer solstice Shaktipat that is given from me every quarter, every solstice and equinox. And so we're right in the middle of that. And I must say, everybody, my Kundalini equation is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I have noticed extreme levels of giving that occurred just 3 o'clock this morning, when I gave the Shaktipat for the people that have signed up for it. It was quite strong, quite powerful, very different for each person. Nobody gets the same thing. It's the Kundalini knows that individual equation instantly, and it gives it. And some of these Shaktipats that were given at 3 o'clock this morning on the Pacific Standard Time, have just been quite powerful. And Amelia, yours was quite powerful. Matter of fact, you got a double shot for whatever reason. I don't know why. I had to go back. These Shaktipats are really, really strong. And I'm going to encourage anybody that wants to partake of the Kundalini, and be careful, because this, once you partake of the Kundalini partakes of you. So if you're not ready to have the Kundalini, then you probably shouldn't even be listening to this program, because the Kundalini rides the voice as well. So quick, change the channel. Turn it to Gilligan's Island. Run! I'm sure there's a good soap opera on, or a Western or something.
What has suddenly occurred to me? I have actually been still processing, or my fourth chakra has only arrived in the last, it's hard to explain, but the third chakra stuff was so strong. Today is fourth chakra day, and I've been talking about third chakra day, and it's only recently in the last hour, anyway, I'm waffling now, but I just had a realization.
Forgiveness, compassion, caring about the issues that you're working on. You're actually, your four chakras on it before your ego is recognizing it. Yeah. Now, Atlanta Seeker asks, would it be in bad taste to join the Shaktipat halfway through? Atlanta Seeker, you can just I'm cooking right now. I mean, very hot. And it's not just because it's like 90,000 degrees outside. It's because I'm giving these Shakti pots. And so, Atlantis Seeker, as you listen to this voice, as you listen, and if you can go into a devotional position, if you can do this, then you will receive the Shakti pot that comes through this radio program, and it does come through. It does come through. A lot of my private students will listen to these radio shows over and over and over. They will listen to the radio show as they clean the house. They will listen to the radio show as they download it and burn it onto a CD. They will listen to the radio show in whatever format they can, and they listen to it over and over and over and over because of the energetic gifting that is given through the voice and through the words that are being selected. So, Atlantis Seeker, I will suggest that you listen to these shows over and over again. Go back to one that you haven't heard. Go back to 2012, which is when we started these programs. Go back then and just maybe cruise through the archives and see what there is to partake of. And for all of you that are listening right now or in the future with the archives, listen to these shows. Listen to one show a day. For those of you that are really, really, really immersing themselves into the Kundalini, listen to one show a day. We have enough shows in the archives now for you to do that successfully, and for you to do that without having to double up on on a topic or something of that nature. So there are enough shows in the archive. Do that. And Atlantis Seeker, yes, the next one will be the autumnal equinox. That'll happen, I believe, September 21st. But don't think that you just have to put everything on hold and wait. Take the Shakti pot of this show. Take the Shakti pot, from just practicing the safeties. Work this and let this work you. And don't think that you have to wait. I don't want you to wait. I want you to hear and feel and experience now, in this moment, in this real time. As I'm right in the middle of fourth chakra, I want you to receive that which is given in the Shakti pot for your specific self right now. And that goes for everybody that's listening to this program today. My heat isn't just for those people that have signed up. It is indeed for them, but it can also be for you. But I just want you to practice those safeties. That's the main thing. If you're not going to practice the safeties, don't listen. Don't take the Shakti pot. Okay? Don't do that. There's no point in putting yourself into a strange new world if you're not willing to really do the work with it. Okay? So trusting the Kundalini is such a big deal. And in a way, it's very related to surrendering to the Kundalini too. Surrender is like trusting the Kundalini ultimately. It's the ultimate force of surrender. And so I really want you, this is one, and I've spoken on other programs about surrender and how important it is. But trust is another word. It is another word that denotes the ability of a person to give the control of their life to the inner divine, to the Kundalini, to that which you hear in my voice. And I'm not saying, give your trust to Chrism, give your equation to Chrism, give everything to Chrism. I'm not saying that at all. I want you to give it to the Kundalini. Now, if you feel the Kundalini has assigned me as your flesh teacher, whether I know it or not, then yes, you give that trust into me and to what I'm saying as well. And what I mean by whether Chrism knows it or not, plenty of times, the Kundalini has assigned Chrism as a flesh teacher for a person he doesn't know, he has never met. I don't need to know you. I prefer to know you, but I don't need to know you. All I need for you to do is to trust the divine qualities that are knocking at your door. You can have a relationship with the Kundalini in Chrism and the Kundalini in yourself without ever saying hello to the Chrism in the physical body. As I've mentioned, I think in other programs, I've had the Kundalini in a person come to them in their dream state and say, you must seek out Chrism Kundalini. He is to be your teacher. He is to be that such teacher for you. And they do, and they find it, and they and we start working together, and it's just it's a fabulous way of understanding the divine element and the commitment that you can have as you follow the instructions, as you trust your Kundalini, and as you surrender to the levels of trust that are being asked of you. But you don't have to feel like you're giving me your firstborn child, or all the money in your bank account, or any of that stuff. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You don't even have to talk to me. You don't even have to email. Don't even have to say anything to me. You just trust that which is coming through me into you. And if it wants you to acknowledge Chrism in some way, then you'll get to know. You'll receive that instruction. Now, I'm trying not to rock the chair too much, but I just feel like I need to rock it. Fashji, is that... how's that? Is that coming through? I know you... Hopefully it's not being heard by anybody here, but I am rocking it a little bit here. So if you have a question about the trust, then I want you to call 347, area code 347, and then 934-0026. And I'm going to come back to Her Holiness in Ireland. And just a little. How does that work?
Mm-hmm.
You can't be like a little pregnant. You either hear it or you don't.
No, it's not as loud as normal, Chrism. It's nice and gentle.
You can hear it?
As Manisha said, we all know that you're rocking.
True enough.
There's a universal, collective consciousness going, Chrism's rocking.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe you guys are here, and I feel like I'm deaf. Here's the thing.
So rock on, rock on.
I've been doing this since I was 2. If you ask my mom, one of these days I'll have my mom on the show. And when I was 2 years old, I was doing this in the car and singing. Boy, you can imagine, huh? So I've been rocking and rolling my whole life long, and so thank you, all of you for for your kindness and your ability to tolerate these spontaneous movements that I have. So thank you everyone. Now, Santara, Your Holiness.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to do a severe shift in subject matter, but kind of severe and yet not so, because it still deals with a lot of trust in the Kunalini. Okay, so as some of you may know, in the month of February 2016, Santara, myself, possibly Heli and Cole, and others will be doing a journey into Peru to do the ayahuasca. And some of you may be going, oh, geez, what? And I'm going to say that if you're feeling an interest or compellation to go down there, compelling interest to go down there and do that you must trust your Kundalini. The ayahuasca will kind of bring you face to face with different aspects of your Kundalini. It will not take you into the Holy of Holies all the way, but it will definitely augment the equation that you have going on right now. Definitely will augment that. It will definitely serve you in giving you a greater level of information and clarity about what you're doing that is helpful, what you're doing that may not be so helpful. And so really, really, really trust it. Now, a lot of you, like myself, the ayahuasca makes you purge. Well, the first time I took ayahuasca, I felt the need to purge, but it never came up. So it just gently subsided. And when I took a student down there the last time in 2010, I took a couple of students down to Peru to do the ayahuasca. One of them didn't throw up at all. I mean, not even a hit, not even going there. And so I don't want you to think that it is a requirement. I mean, most of the people do. But Manisha writes, I don't feel a pull at all to go to Peru. Just want to go to London to meet you. Well, I just want you to go to London to meet me, and I'm going to go to London to meet you. So I don't know how to get to Trafalgar Square or anywhere really in London, I guess, except maybe Heathrow or Gatwick. But I look forward, Manisha, to seeing you there. Really do. Really do. Thank you. Thank you for writing that. And as I go to London, I will trust that the British authorities will not lock me up in the tower, and force me to walk with my head tucked underneath my arm, as the song says.
Will we share, Chrism, with people when you are going to London then?
Yes, please do.
Yeah, so Chrism is going to London on the weekend of the 28th, 29th and 30th of August, and he's going to be speaking at the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution, and that's happening in London, and his contribution is going to be on the Saturday the 29th. And so if you're interested in attending that conference and meeting Chrism personally, just go to this website. It's www.tcche.org, and you will get all the information there. And Chrism is also going to be holding a workshop on the 5th of September. So he will be in London, and it's a wonderful opportunity for people in Europe to meet with him. So do go to that website, or you can contact us as well on Facebook if you want to do that. Any of us really would be delighted to talk with you. That's it. So that's the end of August. Okay. Thank you.
Right. And I just want to say, every time I get on an airplane, even though I touch the skin of the air, you guys want to know what I do when I get on an airplane? Okay, this is what I do. I'll have my carry-on, so I'm dragging that along or carrying that along, and I'll get up right up to the door, and I know that I'm going to touch that plane, and when I touch that plane with my right hand, I'm sent through all of the circuitry of that plane. I'm sent through the integrity of that shell. I'm sent into the engines. I'm sent into the computers. I'm sent into all these things, and I just give a huge level of blessing to the entire plane and to all the people there, to the pilots, to the stewardesses, to the engineers that have worked on the plane. I mean, a Kunalini blessing is so multi-faceted. Anyone and everyone who has touched that plane gets it, and this is what I do every time I get onto an airplane. I touch that with an open hand, and it immediately, and it's a microsecond, and then I'm walking through the doorway and looking for my seat and hoping my window seat is intact. But yeah, it's very cool, very cool. Let's see. Manisha says, when I booked, I did not know there was a workshop, so I don't know if I can participate. You most certainly may participate, my dear. So plan on staying or coming to be with us after the Saturday for the rest of that week if you can. Now I know London is like acid to the wallet, to the money. London is like, you just breathe the air and you'll find that your wallet has gone down. And so I want you to be very, very, very cogent of this, Manisha. you stick with us, and I don't care how many people I can fit in that room. I'll stack them like sardines. And of course, that will make us a cult to everybody. But I just assume, it's just like, I don't want, because I know what it's like to go to London, and I go to London with $100, and I'm -10 just getting off the airplane. Okay, so it's that bad. So yeah, we'll all try to make everybody comfortable, and we'll all try to do everything that we can do to make your stay emotionally profitable, Kundalini profitable, but also not as much of a debit out of your financial equation as well. So. Okay, so I'll be in London on those dates that Amelia just said, and I'll also be in Minnesota in November, as Rosemary may have indicated, and so there it is for the announcements. Now, I haven't told the archive people where you can go to get some of this information, so I just want to do that really quick here. You can go to the YouTube network, and you punch in Chrism Kundalini or Chrism.Kundalini. You'll see this kind of an old guy's face, and some of the pictures he's clean cut, and some of he just looks like some sort of a native that crawled out of a jungle. Fortunately, I have a face for radio, so that's why I'm doing this radio show right now. Click on those videos and watch. There's about 327 of them, and also there are videos there by Santara Kundalini. She's done videos there. Brooke Robertson has done videos there. Magdalene de Deos has done videos there. And so there are videos. It's not all about Chrism giving a good video. It's Eileen Laurel has given videos there. Rosemary has given videos on there. So a lot of different people have come together to give their Kundalini expression a way through to you through the medium of the videos. So definitely go there. Another place you can go is KundaliniAwakeningSystems1.com, and that will give you plenty of information. Another place is KrismKundalini.com. You can go there. You can go to the Facebook groups. Kundalini Awakening ! is one. Kundalini Awakening Systems 2, 3, 2, and Kundalini Awakening Systems 3. We have Kundalini Healing there. We have the Kundalini Radiance Community as well. And these are all on the Facebook network. We have on the Yahoo, we have Kundalini Awakening Systems 1 and Kundalini Healing. And I have various other groups you'll find on the Yahoo network, like Triadic, the Triad group, and I have Kundalini and the and ex-military personnel group, Kundalini Spanish, Kundalini French, Kundalini Brazil, Kundalini. There's a lot of groups on the Yahoo network that I have there. So if you feel like exploring those, feel free to do that. Let's see. Right now, however, I'm going to go back to Her Holiness in Ireland here. And where are you right now in the Emerald Isle?
I'm in Cork, Chrism. Cork.
Cork. So what they put in the wine
I know
bottle, right?
that name makes you giggle. Cork, for anybody who's interested, is the name of the city I'm living in, and it's actually an Anglican. The Irish word is Kirkig, so that became Cork.
Well, I would just make sure you pronounce that R. That's all I can say.
Oh, stop. Cork boy. Okay. So that's the end of that explanation. Moving on.
Ask me some of the questions that you may have collected, if you've collected any.
Yeah, will do. First question coming up. Any thoughts on the Christian phenomena of speaking in tongues? When I was younger, I had evangelical friends who would do this. When they would show me, it was something I did at times during my own feeling of divine connection. Any thoughts on that phenomena, speaking in tongues?
Well, it's called glossolalia, and it's not necessarily a Kundalini trait. It's not, You're not inside of the Kundalini. If anything, you are inside of a just the word that comes to me, like a bubble of devotion. And that devotion doesn't necessarily have to have expressive meanings through words. Sometimes it's just the frequency of the sound that counts. So if you're saying, you know, like some people, that would be speaking in tongues right there. But if you break it up, you know, I mean, and if you go, you know, you're getting a lot of oohs and you're getting a lot of ahs. And you're getting syncopated breakup points within that. This is a format of frequency generation that is coming to the person that is having the glossolalia or the speaking in tongues. It's not necessarily words. It's frequencies of devotion. It's frequencies of gifting. It's frequencies of coming into a level of balance and harmony with the divine expression that their specific belief system is bringing to them. It doesn't mean they're speaking a language. Sometimes it will. Sometimes, and you know, people immediately jump to the conclusion that it's the language of Christ or it's the language, you know, but a lot of different cultures will have glossolalia type events. If you're a shaman, then it will typically be an entity that is coming through, or a group of entities that would be coming through. If you're Kundalini awakened, you know, there's a very similar possibility with that as well. And so with glossolalia, pay more attention to the frequencies and the sincerity of your devotion. And feel how you feel after the frequencies come through. When you hear a mockingbird go through his or her trilling, like we have a mockingbird here, you know, comes out like 11 o'clock at night and does his whole repertoire from 11 to about 2 in the morning. And is he speaking? Is he speaking to all the birds? Is this something that he's saying? What is he saying? You know, it's just the same with the glossolalia. Are you necessarily speaking to someone, or are you basically wrapped up in the devotional aspect of giving yourself to God? And is it that God frequency that's coming through to inculcate itself within your soul by virtue of these ahs and the oohs that you're saying in a very syncopated and yet purposeful, it might seem, purposeful way from the divine within and the divine outside. I don't know if that is making any sense to any of you listening to this. I'll leave it up to the people on the chat room to let me know. But let's go on to the next question.
So, Chrism, with humming, like with a tune, you know, that kind of, it vibrates from the heart right up to the throat. Is that also speaking in tongues? There's no words, but it's something
Is it like an automatic thing? Is it something that just comes upon you?
Yes.
Well, then that's the same thing. Now, okay. Let me back up though. Within a Kundalini context, the humming, if this is a Kundalini awakening person that's coming into the humming and things of that nature, that always has purpose. That always has purpose within their Kundalini equation. Nothing, and this is interesting. I'm glad you brought that up, Amelia, because this goes back to our previous topic about trust. Nothing that happens to you while you're in the Kundalini activated phase or the Kundalini awakened phase will be accidental. I don't care how seemingly out of the blue it occurs, none of it is accidental. When the Holy of Holies is upon you, your whole blueprint, the whole blueprint of the patterns of probabilities are well known. And where you choose to go and how you choose to go may seem like it's coming from you and that you're just kind of like picking the best option that's there. But in reality, it is known where you're going to go and why you're going to do it. and certain levels of teachings are given to you in order to hone your decision making to such a degree that it begins to blend within a divine format of choices and of making decisions. Okay, so for those of you that are inside of this Kundalini activation, especially the activators, the people that have yet to have a spinal sweep, the activators are driven people. They are driven. They must do this, they must do that, they must do this, they must do that, and they're feeling it, and they're being compelled, and they're experiencing it in their dream life, they're experiencing it in their day life, they're watching their world fall to pieces, they're watching themselves build up that new Kundalini world, they're watching their body fall apart only to put itself together again in a different way. And the same thing happens with the life. The activators really are pushed. They're pushed harder. With the awakener, after you've had the spinal sweep, the union with God, union with the Holy of Holies, well, see, that changes you so dramatically that there is no going back. There is no, this is who you are now. And forevermore will you have that divine expression upon you. But the activators, they're the ones that are being pulled and pushed up the mountain at the same time. And their ego is screaming, their family may be screaming, the boyfriends, the girlfriends, the pets, the job, the society may be screaming at them, but they're still going to be pulled and they're still going to be placed into positions where they must surrender to the Kundalini over their ego. And it's just, how long is it going to take for that certain individual? But once again, it's not accidental. This is happening on purpose. Kundalini is very different than any kind of an activity-based scenario that comes in the five senses or like through science. It is not accidental. It is planned. It is a planned event. Okay, even if you had it like that one guy that we know of on the video. He had a skiing accident. He messed up his lower spine by having a ski accident that banged him into a tree really hard. Well, he had to get up in the morning. He had to have that much time taking in breakfast. He had to shower, shave, do all the stuff he had to do at a certain level of timeliness. He had to go out. He had to put his skis on. He had to stand in line at the ski lift. He had to wait for the ski lift to take him all the way up to the mountain. He had to get off the ski lift successfully, which is always a challenge for me. And he had to swing it around to start the downhill descent in just the right way so that he would hit that tree. Now tell me he didn't make every choice upon the way before he compacted with that tree. See what I'm saying? Kundalini people are different than other folks in that regard. Once the Kundalini has you in its sights, and if you have it within your sights, things are drastically changed. If you've been dreaming, well, all of a sudden you may not remember your dreams. You may not have a clue. If you've been astral projecting, all of a sudden you're not astral projecting anymore. Okay, if you're working in a certain job, all of a sudden you couldn't get a job to save your life in that same profession that you maybe spent the last 10 years in. You couldn't get a job to save your life. Feed a stray dog on the side of the road. Okay. This is Kundalini. Kundalini is about change and transformation, and I want you to trust that. Trust that it knows the patterns of probability that you're living with. Trust that it knows that you know that it knows. Trust that it knows that you know that it knows, and that it's just a matter of trust on your part that is either getting in the way and hampering the development, or is totally accepting, trusting, and surrendering to the Kundalini developments that are occurring. And look at every blockage that comes into the activator or awakener's life as just another test, just another refinement of the ego as you go through your life. You understand that, everybody? Very important that you understand that. You change your mindset. No longer are you looking at, oh, God, that was so random. Oh, that was so chaotic. Oh. Now you're looking at, what does the Kundalini want to teach me through this challenge, through this example, through these series of choices that I have to make? What is the Kundalini reaching out and wanting to teach me with? Okay. All right. So, go ahead, Centaur.
Wow, thank you, Chrism, for that.
You turns off the spigot. I have no clue. I have nothing left to say.
I know. That was so amazingly wonderful. The devotion that you were speaking about earlier was present for me during that. I was very aware of the Kundalini and everything you said. Thank you.
I can hardly remember.
Okay, so the next... I know. I could feel that too. Thank you. Okay, so the next question is... there's a few questions actually, Chrism, about meditation. So the first one is, for Kundalini awakening, do I need to concentrate on each chakra while meditating?
No. You just concentrate on the word Kundalini. You can even use Kundalini as a mantra. Okay? You don't leave the chakras alone. The chakras themselves know exactly what they need to do, and the Kundalini knows exactly what needs to be done to each chakra. You, as an ego mind, have no clue about what chakras require or not. You don't even know what they're comprised of. You don't even know why they're placed, where they're placed. You know, the ego has no clue at all about what a chakra is for, why it is. You know, and you look into all this, what I'll call... maybe I won't call it that. We'll just say spiritual porn, right? You look at all the spiritual porn that is on the internet, all the new age. It's like, oh yes, and now we're coming into the time where everybody's going to ascend at the same time, and our DNA is evolving, and it's 12 string or 21 string or 42 strings or. You know, and in the 5-dimension world, and the 6-dimension world, and the 9-dimension world, you know, it's just like inside of all the spiritual porn that is offered in the New Age movement, the one thing that isn't really covered is what a chakra is and why it is. And this is chakra is a Sanskrit word, and it means spinning wheel. And it's like, well, I could... Never mind. So just keep your fingers out of your chakras. Now, when I have you do chakra breathing, that's within the context of a Kunalini Shaktipat. That is in the context of reception, conscious reception of Kundalini, and the chakras are one vector of reception. There are many, many, many other vectors of reception, your ears being one. What do you think is happening as you listen to these words from me right now, for those of you that are feeling the Kundalini coming through the words into you? Well, it's going straight through the ear canal. It's being expanded by the tympanic membrane. It's being processed through the hearing centers and given straight into the spine. Straight into the Cittrini channel. So the only reason I have people chakra breathe is so that during the Shaktipat that they are choosing a level of engagement. It's not all about me waving a hand over somebody's head and going, "Thou art now ascended." It's not that at all. You have to earn. You have to earn it. You have to do it. You have to come 50% of the way. Hi, Lauren. Good to see you. 50% of the way, folks. This is not a cakewalk, and this isn't free, except for Lauren. It's free. If you're an electrical engineer, then it's fine.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi, Lauren. Everybody who's listening, Lauren White just came into the Flash chat room, and he says, "Better late than never," which is true. So yeah, you have to come. You have to lift a finger. This is why I have people put a photo of themselves and make a declaration, and I'm very much a stickler about this, because if they just go, "Hi, Chrism, I'd just like to have your Shakti pot. Thanks," they're not they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything. And guess what they're going to get? If they're not willing to lift a finger, what do you think Kunalini's going to do when you're saying, "I want a Shakti pot"? If you're not going to lift a finger, she's not going to lift a finger either. If you're not going to do a practice, then why should she come to you? If you're not willing to earn this, as Fashchi has, as I'm looking at the other people on the group here, as Santara has, as Rosemary has, as some of you are still doing. If you're not willing to lift a finger, then why should you expect a finger lifted in your direction? This is an interactive equation. This means that it interacts with you. It is conscious, divine interaction with you. And if the person is not willing to do anything other than just state a desire, it's not going to happen. But if you do the Shakti pot, you do the safeties, you follow the safeties, you put the picture up there, you make your declaration, you do the practice, you wear the colors, you do all the things that you're asked to do with regard to that Shakti pot, and there's just nothing that's going to hold that Shakti pot away from you. Reminds me of that guy. I don't know if I've mentioned it here on the show before. There was a gentleman that came to the San Diego seminar that I put on, and he flew in from Kansas City, and he was just there, just on a lark. Somebody bought him the ticket out. He just figured he'd spend some time in San Diego, the sun, the sea, the beaches, and hey, let's take this Kundalini Awakening, seminar. He didn't think much of it, but he did everything, and he did everything with honesty and integrity. He did all the practices in those 2 days that was asked of him. He took the chrisming, the sacred oil upon his third eye. He took that. And when I said, "Are you sure you want this to happen? Is this something you're very clear about? Are you ready to receive this?" And he said, "Yes." And I gave it to him, and he found out that he was not ready. His ego came up into him, and he started to cry, and he just asked me to make it stop. I didn't think it was real. I didn't think it would work. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is real, and it does work. And it'll work right now inside your ears as you're doing the devotion, or if you're just listening. This is working on you constantly. It doesn't have to eat. It doesn't have to sleep. It doesn't have to get the kids ready for school unless it's you that it's getting ready for school. It's 24/7 relentless transformation, change, challenge, and reception by you from the Kundalini. 24/7. Year after year after year after year after year. Next question, my dear.
The next question is on meditating as well, and it says, "I've started shaking sometimes during meditation. Seems to be focused in the stomach and arms. Is there any significance in that?"
These are called Kriyas. The Kriyas can come as shaking movements too. I mean, literally shaking. You'll look like you have a palsy. You know, if you go to an MD's office, they'll go, "Oh my gosh, cerebral. Is there a history of cerebral palsy in your you know?" Or they'll hook you up with some like degenerative disease like Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. You know, there's a lot of shaking with Parkinson's disease, and they'll go, "Oh my gosh, here, you know, let's give you these drugs to act as kind of a prophylactic against further deterioration of your nervous system." And you'll come out of that office going, "Oh shit." And all it is a Kundalini Kriya that'll be done in like 6 weeks. So Kriyas can come as shaking. Do not worry. You do not have a palsy. But if you need to go to the MD, go to the MD. Go to the ER. That's always fun. Go to the ER and you know they'll do all your vitals and maybe even give you a stress test, whatever. But they won't find anything, and they'll just say, "Oh, Miss Santara, maybe you're just having some anxiety. You might want to back off from those pints a little bit." If the MD's in Ireland. But I think the MDs, they also partake though, don't they? They're part of society.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do.
So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Wait. I'm not done with that. Ask me the question again.
I'm after scrolling away from it.
Kriyas, the shaking Kriyas. So these Kriyas can come across as shaking. Your stomach and the abdominal muscles may start acting like they have a mind of their own. You may have your diaphragm tucked under your rib cage without you doing a darn thing. It'll just go there. Your muscles may also tense up. You'll have like these amazingly tense muscles for hours. And you'll wonder, God, when is my body going to relax? And you know it's pushing your BP high. You know it's pushing your pulse rate high. But you have no need to worry because once again, as we've already discussed, you're trusting your Kundalini. You're trusting it. You know that it knows you better than you know yourself. And it's changing you. It's changing you into an expression of the divine. Changing you. And that the tenseness in the muscles or the shaking of the limbs, the arms or the stomach, this is all good. These are all indications of Kundalini awakening. Activation sequences as well. Kundalini comes as sudden movements in many different ways. You can go into an entire yoga asana, which is a position, or you can just go into you can have a finger kriya, which will just bring you, like, say, into a mudra. Automatic mudras happen quite a bit with the Kundalini, and I haven't really gone into that a lot. But a lot of the finger mudras are modulated by the combinations of the chakras in the fingertips. Okay? The fingertips of each human being are amazing levels of centralized, focused power. Finger chakras have laser-like qualities. They can go right through a wall. But they're the most beneficial when they're touching another person with a healing or a loving or a Kundalini-backed agenda. When I touch a student with my fingers, typically I'm led to their spine. So I go right to the spine. Sometimes I don't even go to the front of the body. I just go straight to right below the occipital lobe and just go straight down the spine. I can touch them just on their hand and watch the Kundalini go to their spine. Okay. So really, yeah. Manisha says, I get mudras when I dance, and dancing itself can also be a Kundalini Kriya. I have seen people go into dances that they have never learned, that they have never studied, that were completely off the grid of their knowledge, and all of a sudden they're doing these types of dance, and these are sacred dances. These are sacred dances that really underline the Kundalini within that person. Cole Kundalini writes, I was very ill with something like my stomach, like a stomach flu for day 2 and day 3 of the Shaktipat, and was not able to do the Shaktipat exercises. Oh, my God. Oh, Cole. Oh, you were in so much trouble. No, my friend, you can't make that up. You just go forward. Go forward, my friend. And await your punishment as you no, just kidding. There's no punishment for that. Maybe you just had maybe once again, as I said, there's no accidents, there's no randomness. So maybe you weren't supposed to do those. Maybe those exercises for that day at that time was not for you to do. Okay? Look at it in a different way. Manisha says, yes, I go into sort of Indian dances and Tai Chi like movements with extreme hand movements. Well, you should film it sometime, Manisha. We'll put it up on the channel there if you're interested. So yeah, very, very, very cool. Very, very cool. And so let's go into the next question, my dear.
And a final one on meditation related. I feel a heat in the back. I feel a heat in my back and the base of my spine. In meditation, my body dances and sways and rotates. Is this the sign of a successful Shaktipat?
That's a sign of an ongoing Shaktipat. A successful Shaktipat would be any inculcation of energy that came from the person participating and doing the practice. That is, and I don't care if it's just like a single hand mudra out of the blue for no reason. That is enough. That is enough to know. So certainly the dance movements, if you fall into that category, or if the individual falls into the category of participating in the Shaktipat, making the declarations, posting the photograph, doing the practice of the safeties before the Shaktipat even is coming to them, accepting the scatter field, wearing the colors, saying the mantras, doing the chakra breathing, all of these things, then yes, indeed. Even the acceptance of the scatter field, I've been finding, and I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I've been finding that the actual scatter field is more phenomena-laden than the Shaktipat itself. The scatter field tends to really, really, really torque people in a very specific way that allows them to really feel it. Have you found that, Santara?
No, not really, Chrism. I found this time 3 days before the Shaktipat started, things began. But no, I can't say I'm finding that for me.
I've just been reading it on the groups. Vashti's typing. He may have an opinion on that. And Lauren writes, that tapping sound is back. It seems to come and go. I suspect Chrism has a tapping kriya. You got it, what? That's right. There's a tapping thing going on. I'm doing my chair-based EFT.
Vashti is commenting, I think you are correct, Chrism, referring the phenomena beginning with the placing of the scatter.
That's been happening the last 3 or 4 times, too, and it's very interesting. It's just
I've noticed it on the groups happening. Yeah, people are commenting about it. I'm just not so much personally, but yes, I've noticed it on the groups. And that didn't happen a few years ago, I don't think.
Oh, no, it didn't. Vashti says, better than his whole life being a kriya like mine. Well, I hope your whole life is being a loving kriya, Vashti, and I hope a lot of that love is coming right back at you. Okay, my dear. Next question.
Okay. There was a question on the group from a Kundalini person, and she says, please tell me why it's hard for me to look into people's eyes. So that was, I just thought I'd ask you that. Would you have a comment on that? She finds it hard to look into people's eyes. does anybody else feel like that? Did you see
there's
that thread, Chrism?
There's a multiple levels of issue with that. I mean, she could just have extremely low third chakra. She doesn't feel that she can withstand the direct gaze of another person, or, maybe she's afraid of what that person, what can be communicated. Maybe, there's an entity in her that doesn't want to be seen, that withers within the direct gaze of another individual. There are so many variables that can come into play with that one individual with regards to having a direct gaze. I would ask you, can they do a direct gaze on a photograph? Can they do a direct gaze upon a painting? How does that make them feel? And if they have a pet, can they do a direct gaze into the eyes of the pet? And if that goes well, then I would just practice with that. And like with Lasha, has no problem looking at me straight in the eye. It's basically, here I am, deal with it. And she's very honest that way. And so I'll look right into her eye. And I know that other animals have a very, very good ability to look straight in the eye of the human being, especially predator animals. So I would look at that, as glad to read it there, Foshchi and Manisha. The sound, right? Sorry. So looking directly at another person. Now, there's also a level of space invasion. You have the other people that are going way out of their way, not only to look in the eye of the person, but to look in the pupil, iris, eyeball of the person without wavering, totally invading their space visually. With the intent of doing that, with the intent of kind of disrupting their flow. So there's that. I think I think to just look at people with sincerity in both eyes, back and forth or however, that's the way to go. And don't try to make the gaze some sort of a mystical experience, unless that's the plan between the two people. Okay? So I'm just going to leave it at that.
Thank you. There's a comment made by Ryan that I'd like to read, Chrism, because it's an experience that Kundalini people can have. And he asks at the end the question, any thoughts? So I'll just read it. While I was traveling today, I really began to look at the trees, the sky, the vehicles on the road. All of life seemed to slow down to a crawl. I felt a surge of energy from my root into my crown and my extremities. I felt like I was about to explode with energy. I began to breathe deeply as I was driving, and this was on my sit bones and my feet, and I began to feel more calm, peaceful, and more in control. Thoughts?
Well, you broke up a little bit on some of that. Can you read it again?
Sure. While I was traveling today, I really began to look at the trees, the sky, the vehicles on the road. All of life seemed to slow to a crawl. I felt a surge of energy from my root into my crown and my extremities. I felt like I was about to explode with energy. I began to breathe deeply as I was driving, and this was a decidedly bad time for an out-of-body experience. As I inhaled and exhaled, I concentrated on my sit bones and my feet, and I began to feel more calm and more peaceful and more in control.
Oh, well, I think he did well. I think he was guided. I think he was guided without his awareness to focus on his feet, to focus on the tailbone, and to focus, on his driving as well. Gosh, I've had that happen. I have to be honest with you, but it's been in far worse conditions. I've had to drive in my life. I've had, at one time I was a professional driver, and I had to drive really, really long hours. Not a truck truck driver per se, but a private driver that I had to go many hours driving, and on more than one occasion, I would literally fall asleep at the wheel. And the Kundalini would give me such a huge surge of energy and its awareness into my system that I would snap awake and stay awake for a very long time after that. And the Kundalini will pay attention to you while you're driving, and she will also initiate changes upon you while you're driving. Even as I say, don't do this and drive. We all have to drive. At least most of us in the Western societies have to drive a vehicle or be available to be driven by a vehicle. And if we're in charge of that car, it's very important for us to have full awareness of what we're doing. And I think this gentleman, Ryan, was having full awareness, and he's being manipulated within that full awareness by the Kundalini to really begin to manifest an appreciation of how the force of life can be manipulated by the divine, how things slow down, how things speed up, how energy is given in and modulated in certain ways to help the individual come into specific realizations within their process. And I think this is what happened to him.
Yes, thank you. I've had that happen as well, and I've heard other people speak of it. So that's why I wanted to mention it, Chrism. Yeah, thanks. There's a question here, and somebody says they're having a lot of pressure. Sorry, it's after moving on me. Oh, they were asking you anyway. Where is it gone? Yes. Could you give me some advice on how to reduce the incredible pressure inside my body? Thank you.
Surrender to it. Stop resisting it. Resistance will increase the pressure. The more you surrender to it, the more you allow it to have its way, the better off you're going to be. It may not resolve it immediately. The other thing is to talk to the Kunalini. Talk to the Shakti. She'll listen to you. The fact that you're talking to her, and I mean talk to her like you're talking to a person, like you'd call me up and talk to me as an individual. You talk to your Kundalini that way. And you make a deal with it and say, look, give me some sort of a break. If it is conducive to you to have a break from that pressure, then you'll receive it. If it isn't, then you won't. Either way, I want you to trust the Kundalini and to go with what is occurring. I know that it is painful that way at sometimes, especially when it's in the head. You get a lot of head pressures, and it's very difficult to just go, because you can't take an aspirin, you can't take Tylenol, you can't take paracetamol and think that it's going to work. It's not going to work. Okay? You need to talk to the Kundalini. Definitely talk to the Kundalini, and make sure that you're in a position of trust, of surrender, of acceptance, of reception. And also, if you can do some heavy exercise, that might take some of the pressure out of the body. Sometimes the pressure is accompanied by literal tension in the nerves. And so sometimes you can't even move a leg or an arm because the nerves are all tense there. Do some sort of running, do some sort of walking, do some sort of exercise that allows you to spread that energy around, and it will spread itself if the Kundalini wants it to be so. But really do your best to surrender to it, and if you can't surrender, if it's just too much, have that conversation with the Kundalini. Not God. Mention it as Kundalini first. Okay. Even though God is Kundalini.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. But we have a different understanding, at least in the English-speaking West. We have a different understanding of the word God as opposed to the Sanskrit word Kundalini. There's two different meanings to that, even though they're indicative of the same thing. It's our programming. Continue.
Can you say a bit more about that, Chrism?
About what? The programming?
About the two different meanings of God and Kundalini.
In God, like even on the money here in the States, in God we trust. The big Masonic, Egyptian-based Babylonian mystery school, where the owl is on the dollar bill, and they say in God we trust. They've got the all-seeing eye on top of the pyramid, and all of these things, in order to control and to program us into into following their Babylonian agenda that they have. And so what we're doing with the Kunalini is we're going right around all of that programming, actually eliminating that programming, eliminating the worship of the Moloch, the owl that you'll find on some of the money in the United States, and eliminating the idea of the all-seeing eye being placed atop a pyramid that is of an Egyptian design. The all-seeing eye is the third eye. It is the Kundalini eye that comes to an individual. It has nothing to do with a pyramid, except that you're looking at a pyramid as a refinement symbol, a symbol of starting really broad and then refining your way to the capstone. And at the tip top of the capstone, well, there you have the Kundalini awakening. Well, I can accept that, but not as a ethnic-based historical symbol of extreme import, except as those with that agenda are proposing it to be. Okay, I'm not buying into Moloch. I like owls like the next person, and I would catch little owls as a kid. So me and owls go way back, but I'm not worshiping the owl. I'm not worshiping a pyramid. I'm not worshiping a Masonic-based ideological system that is being foisted into the public in the way of what's that word? It's like when you hear a sound, it's like subliminal. Subliminal programming is all this is, and we've been having it since we were kids. And I don't care if you're in the United Kingdom or the United States or Canada, Mexico, Australia, Europe, Russia, Asia. Societies have programs that they want you to partake of. In the United States and in Europe, the Masonic program is one of the overarching programs of control of the populations. And so they put out this type of subliminal programming in order to initiate programs of control and expectation of control upon the populations, upon the societies. And before you start jumping onto the whole conspiratorial angle, just realize that you chose to be in this world at this time where there is a pyramid on the dollar bill, where there is an all-seeing eye floating over that pyramid on that dollar bill, and a hidden owl named Moloch. I mean, God, if you're going to name an owl, can't we do better than Moloch? Like Owly or something? But anyway, you chose to come into this world that has this level of programming. You did it on purpose in order to achieve the level of Kundalini awakening that you can achieve within this construct, within this little mini reality that we're living in within the United States. And so, as you look at your money, well, know that you're being programmed. Know that this is a subliminal program. It says some things in Latin like Inuit or some other crock of whatever. And it says, "In God we trust," which personally I take a little bit of umbrage, because I like cats. How come not in cat we trust or tack? I mean, if dog and God are just the same thing, two ways, the brain doesn't just read right to left, it also reads left to right. Or, yeah, well, you know what I mean. So the scenario is you know, in God we trust. Well, I would say in divinity we trust. And in that divine, that means all the different gods and goddesses that all the different human societies have put together. And, you know, everything from Zoroastrianism to Greek mythology to shamanic symbolism to Sufic symbolism, Allah, to Buddha, to Ishtar, to Kunalini, to Christianity, all, you name it. It doesn't mean just one special little group that just loves the Babylonian stuff. Okay? It's from all of them. And so you chose to be here during this time. And so you chose to have the subliminal programming that was evident to you before you took the body. You knew that programming was there. But you chose to come here anyway because your Kundalini would take you beyond that level of programming. You would use those symbols for your own agenda rather than the agenda of a group worshiping Babylonian idols. So it's the programming. It's the subliminal programming that we work, that we engage with as we come into this world and as we manage our way into the spiritual aspects of an ascension format like Kundalini Awakening is. It's that subliminal programming that we have to start questioning. Just because the United States FCC says, oh, well, you know, back in the 70s, we stopped allowing subliminal programming on the TV. That doesn't mean that they've stopped it in other ways. Certainly not on the money. Okay, the military can do anything it wants with the population. That was Congress in the United States signed a law into place that allows the military to do any kind of testing that it deems is viable upon the populations of the United States. And I'll tell you what, that includes subliminal programming using frequency generators. It's just one technique that's been used. HARP is another. So, yeah, this level of programming, subliminal programming that we're here to work with, this is just another realization that a person like you, Mr. or Mrs., whoever's listening to this show right now, this is just something that you need to recognize and move beyond. It's just another step on the ladder
Chrism?
into your grace. Yes.
Chrism?
Yes. I
thought you were being bumped off.
I see what Atlanta Seeker wrote.
Oh my God, they were listening to him.
Did it get bumped off? Did it get bumped off?
But okay. No, it's not. It's fine. I'll continue. Did you pause for a long period of time, though, no?
Did I pause? No. Did I pause? No. It was straight on through. Okay. We'll see. Manisha, did it go through? Did you guys hear everything in the chat room here? It's always a question. While that's being responded to, I'm going to read what Atlanta Seeker said. She says, but I think the pyramids were built in a more enlightened age when more people had Kundalini longer ago than conventional Egyptology says, and they are not evil in themselves. Rock is not evil, Atlanta Seeker, I agree. I'm not sure that they were built in a more enlightened age, however. You know, slaves, I mean, how enlightened is that? Okay. But I think that we don't need to see the... You know, I'm not indicating that the pyramids are evil. I'm just saying that some people with an agenda are using a pyramid as a symbol of what they think it is. I didn't mention the evil word. Okay. Nobody said the pyramids were evil or that the Egyptians were evil. Some people, the conquistadors, well, they took over the Moorish holy sites and they changed them into Catholics. Well, modern day Illuminati type person, they use the Babylonian understandings to try to understand the Egyptian mystery school understandings. I'm not placing a judgment. The only person I'm really judging against, I guess, is the people that are putting out subliminal programming in order to place a certain level of unknown control upon the populations. I got a little bit of an issue with that, but the other thing I know of is that once you know the truth, they no longer have control over you. You could use their money till the cows come home, but that money, it doesn't have any control over you. Okay. So yeah, I think I like pyramids. I like pyramid power. I know that the pyramids themselves have a power, and I like teepees or cones because a cone is a pyramid with an infinite number of sides. So if you think a pyramid has power, think what a cone has. And I'm talking about the cone that sits on top of the awakening person's head or the activating person's head. Let's talk about cones. Maybe they just didn't have cones when they were developing the dollar bill, so they couldn't put a cone up there and have it mean the same thing. So they just did the pyramid. Maybe that's what it was. Next question, Santara, please.
Okay, Chrism. Somebody says, it doesn't matter where or when my Kundalini gets activated by herself and is out of my control. The crown part of my head is crawling with ants, and this makes me very scared.
Well, I think you should be very, very concerned if you have a colony of ants in your hair. I mean, what kind of food particles are you leaving in your hair? Are you using your hair as a napkin? It's not like me with my beard. I can pretty much, somebody might disagree with that, but the scenario is are you... No, seriously, I was just joking about the hair in the napkin. You will feel often like there are electric insects in the scalp of the head, and that is a common phenomena. Nothing is wrong. Matter of fact, that's an indication that more things are right than wrong. Okay, things are going well for you. If you're feeling the electric ants in the scalp and roaming throughout your head, it's also an aspect of the golden helmet. That means that the crown chakra is being prepared for activation. It's a very beautiful, very wonderful sign and a symptom, and you should fully embrace this. Fully embrace this. Do not fear. Do not fear whatsoever. This is natural, and this is a classic phenomena that many, many people share. So do not have a concern and do not have a worry about that. It's natural. It's normal. Nothing is wrong. Next one.
Thank you. I'm suffering from immense hair fall due to Kundalini, ? Any remedies would be very helpful for me. My nervous system is pressured for unknown reasons already.
Well, it's basically, your teeth can fall out, the hair can fall out, but don't think that anything is damaged. If the hair is falling out, just know the hair will grow back. You may need to give yourself more blood flow to the scalp. That may be an indication of hair falling out as well. And so give yourself a good, vigorous scalp massage every day. Do it for like 3 minutes every day. And I mean a 3-minute hair massage every single day. Doing the entire scalp, around the ears, nape of the neck, all the way up, forward into the forehead. Give yourself that scalp massage. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, look at your TSH levels. Look at what your endocrine system is doing for you. Are you light on the TSH or TSH? Are you light on that? Are you kind of below normal? Or are you above normal? Where are you at with that? So get a blood test and look at that too. Kundalini can cause the hair to fall out, but it can also cause the hair to grow like crazy. My hair fell out, now it's growing like crazy. You know, I was told just the other day, you know, Chrism, I think that, you know, the hair that you had in 2010 was so much nicer than the hair you have right now. Oh, my God. You know, so I was told this, and all I could do was just say, well, you know, I can't tell people to not cut their hair or just go ahead and cut my hair. I mean, come on, you know, so that's not right. So, yeah, I just let my hair grow, and it does grow. It really does grow. This beard is amazing. It just doesn't stop. It's just almost down to my navel. So the scenario is that, yes, it can influence a lack of hair growth or an accelerated hair growth. You just need to last through the symptom. Many people put so much of their personality into the vanity of their looks. Oh, my God, you know, the hair has to be just right. Just the Breck girl, right, full of body and lustrous color and brassy highlights, you know, and all of this bullshit that is put out about a person's hair and how they look. And for some people, the Kunalini may just step in and go, well, let's just take that out of the equation. Let's take that level of vanity in the hair out of the equation. And some people just have to dye their hair blonde.
Yes, that was my story, and my hair did fall out until I listened.
Well, tell them your story there, because it's appropriate to this conversation.
That's the story, isn't it? You know, my hair started to fall out, and I loved having my hair blonde. I only dyed it blonde when I was 50, and I loved it. And my hair started to fall out, and my teacher said to me, Amelia, you know, what's going on? You know, ask these things that you're just saying about the vanity and the hair, and what was that about the dyeing? And I'm going, and then I did. I stopped dyeing my hair, and I began to let it go grey, let it go its natural colour, and my hair stopped falling out.
Here's the thing. You don't get, she doesn't want you dyeing your hair. She doesn't want, you know, harsh chemicals on a portion of your energetic anatomy. You got to remember that the hair isn't just dead keratin hanging from your head. Kundalini flows through every hair string.
It does, and I mean, just to say, I feel that. I mean, I can feel that. There's been a huge. My hair is alive. I mean, I know it's dead, as they say, but it's not. It's alive. I can feel every strand of my hair. Yeah, absolutely.
And so don't overwash it. Don't put too much shampoo on. Here's another thing: is don't soak down your body every day and strip it of its natural oils, including the hair and the scalp. You know, this fixation we have, and plus the absolute horrible stuff that they're putting in the soaps and the shampoos. You know, I mean, don't do that to yourself. If you can't pronounce the word that is in your shampoo, don't use it on your skin or your hair. Think about it, you know. You know, people are fixated on, got to take a shower every day, or you're just some sort of a dirty pig, you know. Let me tell you, you don't need to take a shower every day. Unless you're working hard out in the field or in the factory or in the office where you maybe around a lot of stuff, around a lot of people, whatever. But you don't need to wash your hair every day. And you don't need to use those harsh chemicals on it. That can make your hair fall out, in addition to the Kundalini. Go ahead, Santara.
Cousin, there was something you mentioned earlier, so I'd like to ask you myself, you know, can you say something about what is an extreme low third chakra? What would that, you know,
Oh, being used as a doormat. Being used as a doormat.
Okay.
Expecting to be used as a doormat. Belittling yourself, invalidating yourself. You'll never be good enough. You'll never be strong enough. You'll never be smart enough. You'll never be anything enough in order to do a certain thing. Not being worthy of love, not being worthy of success, not being worthy in any way, shape, or form. These are all expressions of a low third chakra.
Okay. Thank you. We have 3 minutes left. I have one or two more questions. So can Kundalini be activated via psychedelics?
Yes, absolutely. Go ahead.
I'm having a lot of pressure in my head and lightness. I'm trusting and surrendering to Kundalini, and I've asked, is all okay? But I keep hearing rewiring.
Oh, well, rewiring means that, yes, indeed, it is all okay. If you're hearing rewiring, it just means upgrades are taking place within your process. So if you're hearing that word, or even thinking that word, or feeling that word in some way, or even just casually looking on a piece of print, and all of a sudden your eyes land on the word rewiring, that is all about you. That is all about what is happening to you as you experience the Kundalini. So rewiring is a big deal, and it takes place in everyone, and it takes place differently in everyone too. Once again, we're all unique as we come in to the Kundalini awakening. We're unique and we're exceptional, as well as being similar in some of our phenomena. The rewiring is one of the cross personal or transpersonal developments that the Kundalini will have. It will rewire everyone. It just rewire you in exactly the same way. And so this is the big mistake, is that people are all going to ascend at the same time, and that's not true, because we have different karmas, we have different reasons for being here, and we're in different stages within the Kundalini activation or awakening. And so we all have our individual timeline, and unless the sun's going to explode, and then of course everything is going to ascend at the same time. But typically within a New Age jargon or understanding, no, we don't all ascend. We don't all awaken at the same time. That was never the plan. Okay, the plan is to get through your karma and to get into the divine rewiring. That's the plan. That's the agenda. Okay, that's what the Kunalini wants you to have. And as we end the show, I would like to give the microphone to Santara for any last words, Santara?
Last words? No, Chrism. Well, yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Everybody in the chat room. Knowing Star Woman, hi, nice to see you again this week. You've just logged in. Go and check on the archives, because you've missed a great show. Thank you, everybody, and we'll catch you again next week. Thank you,
and
Chrism.
I would like to thank you. I would like to thank Amelia Santara and John O'Connor, her husband. I would like to thank the whole O'Connor clan, the whole family, for producing this show and for co-hosting the show. I would like to thank Atlanta Secret Fasci guest 1225, guest 1283, Heli Heidonen, Knowing Star Woman, Lauren White, Manisha, Phil Karuba, Cole Kundalini, and everyone who is listening in the archives. I would like to thank all of you for your attention and for the grace that is within you. Thank you.